hope bloomed in a dark and dreary land where we're coming up just a week and a half away from a 5-month-long writer's strike when some hope came out. It was announced that the writers and the studios were going to get together and meet on Wednesday. Then CNBC reported that they think they might actually be able to reach a deal by Thursday, and they're going to meet again the next day. We did a story yesterday saying they could reach a deal yesterday. No deal was reached, but another story came out that says they actually kept negotiating well into the night and then decided, and they put out a statement saying, we're going to meet again tomorrow. So as we speak right now, the writers and studios are meeting again right now. And it sounds like, according to some reports in Variety, that on a couple of key issues, they've actually gotten closer together. They said there are still a couple of sticking points. A minimum size of a writer's room is one of the sticking points there. And that while they've come to an agreement that what the writers were looking for was like kind of applying the old model of residuals to today's reality, they've agreed they can't do that. They've all agreed they can't do that. But it sounds like there's still got a bit of a sticking point on two different definitions. One wants to be based on a licensing thing. One wants it to be based on a per view thing. And apparently they're still kind of at odds over that. But apparently they're making progress on almost all the other issues that have been on the table. Notably, you've had the CEOs of Warner Brothers, Disney, Netflix, and I believe NBC Universal have all personally been in these meetings as well. A lot of progress. Of course, that raises the question, why couldn't these two sides have done this on day one and sit down in a room together for 4 or 5 days? Anyway, but whatever. We're here. Maybe some good news. Chris, we talked about this a bit yesterday with them saying they could reach a deal by yesterday. Didn't happen. But that doomsday scenario, because in that report it said if they don't reach a deal by Thursday, this thing's going to drag into 2024.
Yes.
Neither of those things happened. The two sides agreed to keep meeting. I think they kept meeting till about 9:30 at night. Mm-hmm. And then they said, we're going to keep meeting on Friday. Am I being overly optimistic in thinking that means they must, like both sides must feel like they have some momentum going here? I don't know. How do you look at this?
I don't think you're being overly optimistic. I think in a way it feels almost like a jury that can't come to a conclusion. And I would rather them sit there and duke it out than decide that this is a mistrial. I want them to come to each other's terms. And obviously not every single thing is going to be met, but at least it could be met part way. At least someone can make some concessions on one side. Someone else can make some concessions on the other, where everyone leaves with a little something that is a bit more fair and reasonable for everybody involved. The fact that they are sticking it out and really getting into these negotiations, I do think is promising, because otherwise we'd have another situation of them just walking away. The joint press release, this continued elongated negotiation really does make me feel better. Because like we've talked about ad nauseum, this has cost so much money. This has cost everyone so much money. And we're now in day 144, 145, I think. So I really hope this gets situated. I really hope this gets resolved. Because if we don't have this come to a conclusion, the rest of this year's slate is totally effed.
I really think, I can't remember who wrote the article. It might have been Variety wrote the article before, either Variety or the Hollywood Reporter, but basically said, remember we talked about this? It was weeks ago that said, reps from both sides have to be locked in a room and just told you're not allowed to come out until you get a deal done. Maybe we're at that point where both sides believe that too. Maybe they're at the point where they're like, this is 3 days in a row they've been sitting down talking to each other. Now look, I don't think it's any coincidence that both sides are feeling a little bit more pressure to get something done. Look, on the studio side, we heard about Warner Brothers taking losses, although part of me thinks Warner Brothers created that story to a very bad strategy to maybe generate some public sympathy, because that wasn't going to work. But I think shareholders of studios are starting to apply pressure. Mm-hmm. I think there are executives that are starting to apply pressure. I think there are creative partners that are starting to apply pressure. I think the studios are really starting to feel the pressure of this. At the same time, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you can bring up the classroom on this, Jonathan. This was a big whole quote. I'm not going to bother reading this whole thing, but I think the Writers Guild is starting to feel more pressure as well. We talked last week about the fact that a bunch of the showrunners were concerned. The quote in here is that they were concerned that the negotiators for WGA weren't actually interested in getting a deal done. They just want to get what they originally asked for, and they were digging their heels in. But now, apparently, according to the Wrap, they're saying even IATSE is now contacting the heads of WGA wanting some clarification on what their strategy is to get a deal done. Because remember, a lot of IATSE people are out of work right now. So I think the studios are getting the screws put to them by their shareholders, by executives, whatever. This is throwing their business into chaos, and they cannot continue like this. And I think the writers are starting to feel some pressure as well, that there's got to be a deal here to be made somewhere. And maybe with 3 days in a row, I mean, I was hoping today, Chris, we would be able to come in here today and say, the writers got a deal. Everything's getting ready to go again. Because I think the actors, I think SAG will be quick to follow if terms can be met. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. Signing your life away to a big wireless provider is kind of like being trapped on a roller coaster from hell. Sure, it looks like fun at first. They probably even threw in a free phone, but now you can't get off. Month after month of insane bills and unexpected thrills, like overages and surprise fees. If that sounds like your current big wireless plan, it's time to get off the ride with Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You guys know before I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I am paying now on the standard big wireless plan, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped right to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. We're not there yet, but I'm still feeling hopeful.
Well, I was honestly kind of excited about between now and open mic, hopefully something getting done and being
I'm
like,
waiting,
very
my
well
hands
could
on the
actually.
horn.
yeah, I was like, I'm going to go over,
Yeah.
and run down to the Trader Joe's and grab us a bottle of bubbles and be like, yay, what a good
I'll
show.
start playing John Lennon's War is Over. It was great.
I love it.
Can JFK come again?
We will handle these strikes.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.